Joining us now is political analyst Brian Sobel. And Brian, yesterday I did notice that Benghazi keeps coming up. Bernie Sanders is bringing it up. And at one point, the moderator asked Hillary Clinton, do you think your judgment is bad? As she wouldn't admit to that.
No, she wouldn't, and she would not apologize either. It was an interesting town hall last night. It was a real show for the Democrats. First of all, they were all on individually, no cross-examination whatsoever.
Right.
It was a showcase, and they all did well because there was no challenge. Chris Cuomo, the moderator for CNN, did a good job, but didn't push back a whole lot. So all in all, it was a great night for Democrats.
I thought Bernie Sanders started to show a little bit of personality. I don't know if it's too late in the game to do that, but I noticed that just like President Obama in 2008, he's hammered Clinton on the vote that she made back in 2002 about whether or not to authorize war against Iraq. And you know, what are your thoughts about bringing that up?
Well, they continue to bring up, they being either O'Malley or Sanders, these votes or positions Hillary Clinton has taken over time. I'm not sure it resonates anymore with the American people.
13, 14 years ago.
Absolutely, right. And she's dealt with these and knocked them back one by one. It seems like an old story to me.
Can you help me gauge the public's interest in these town hall forums, the debates, with the Iowa caucuses coming up? Are more people getting engaged now, or are they still saying, you know what, just come to me when I've got two choices?
Well, we know that a lot of people are watching this year, and that's a bonus. Maybe it's because of the huge number of Republicans in the field, but the Republican debates have been watched by a lot of people. On the Democratic side, it's a little tougher because there aren't a whole lot of candidates, and you know, I've been saying since the beginning, I don't change this. At the end of the day, Hillary Clinton, however she does in Iowa or New Hampshire, is going to be the candidate for the Democrats. And so I think a lot of people intuitively know that and may not be watching the Democratic debates quite as closely.
It's always fascinating to me how left the candidates on the Democratic side have to go and how far right the Republicans have to go. And then they have to backtrack. Can you undo some of the things that you've said? I mean, you know, they have to come to the center at some point.
Sal, it's a great question. And what happens is that in past campaigns, people have been so far to the left or so far to the right that their comments are then used in the general campaign against them. So there's a real debate that goes on in campaigns about, hey, how far do we want to move left or right depending on where you are in the political spectrum before we have to come back to the middle. Now, last night, you did hear Hillary Clinton talk about getting along with Republicans and how she was approachable in the Senate and that sort of thing. And Sanders talked about the same thing.
And we heard Hillary Clinton in that brief soundbite say, I'm a proven fighter. Now, the backstory behind that was a young Bernie Sanders supporter in the crowd. I was saying, hey, you know, a lot of people think you're dishonest out there. And she came firing at that supporter. And I bring this up because my question is about the younger voting bloc.
Yes.
Does Bernie Sanders need to win the young votes to beat Hillary Clinton?
I think so, and he's really resonating beautifully with young people. And heck, Ben and Jerry's coming through.
Right.
You know, I want to taste that. You know, but he's, to use the phrase, the word, he's relevant. I mean, people are watching him. They like his message around the wealth that sits at the top of the scale, and other people, and that would be young people, not yet a part of the dream. And he's really tapping in on that very, very nicely.
Okay, real quick, what happens if Michael Bloomberg enters the race?
I think he's an X factor. I don't know that he affects things very much, to be honest with you.
Does Donald Trump participate in the Fox News debate?
Well, he's talking about going back and forth. That's typical Trump.
He'll be there?
Yeah, he'll be there.
I think so. All right. Thank you very much, Brian.
Absolutely.
All right, stay tuned to KTVU Fox 2 for complete coverage of the Iowa caucuses.